Hey you, wanna know how to start a keyboard war in Final Fantasy XIV? My big manager told me I really need to rebrand this video if I don't want to get banned, so allow me to rephrase the question. Do you know how to avoid arguments in 14? I'm just going to assume you said no, because otherwise this video is completely useless. Don't even worry about it, human, because I have spent a lot of my time wasting my time lurking on subreddits, discords, YouTube comments, and even the dreaded official forums section. And now I have my hand on the bleeding heart of this best ever community. Whatever you do, do not use these and throw them into Reddit like a hand grenade and run away before the place explodes. This video is meant to help people avoid embarrassing and controversial situations in game. I'll even name it something real clickbaity like never talk about these 10 things in Final Fantasy XIV. Oh yeah, that's it. Now Yoshi P is definitely gonna give me some of Daddy's This is the part of the YouTube video where I remind you that liking, commenting, and subscribing to the Cringe Empire lets you see a special secret rap at the end of every video. And when you subscribe to my channel, one blue mage casts self-destruct. Join the good fight, human. Alright, so the first and probably most infamous argument starter: should healers have to DPS? If you weren't there back in the 2.0 to 3.0 days, here's the gist. If a healer wanted to deal decent damage, they needed to use Cleric stance, which swapped their mind stat to intelligence. This meant you couldn't heal for shit until you turned it off. Then in 4.0, they removed the skill and made healer damage scale off of the mind stat. So now that it's piss easy to deal damage, it's no longer socially acceptable to drool all over the keyboard while spamming Cure 3 on single target. Nowadays, the majority of healers will DPS without issue, but anti-healer DPS trolls will come crawling out of their graves if you bring up the topic in any way, shape, or form. Save yourself the headache and just don't. Trust me. Number 2, and let me know if this phrase triggers your fight or flight instinct. You pull it, you tank it. I feel like this one isn't really specific to 14. It probably haunts other MMOs too, but this argument comes up every other day on forums. Some players think only tanks should pull, and that it's extremely rude to do it for them. And the other side thinks it's more rude to waste other people's time and not go at the pace that the party wants. There's a lot of other stuff that gets argued about when it comes to large pulls, like tank or healer skill, whether the DPS are using AoE properly, lower broken gear. I could keep going, but I'd rather eat at a Burger King than see this argument rehashed ever again. 3. This topic flies under the radar sometimes, but usually comes back around anytime a cool-looking Mog Station item gets released. Not much to say here. Some players just really hate the fact that there's a cash shop in a subscription-based MMO. Pretty silly, right? I mean, there's just so much content in the game that no one ever unsubs anyway. Can't believe they expect these items to be available with in-game events or actual quests or something. Other people don't care and see it as a way to support the devs beyond just paying their sub. This one split about 50-50, but the people who don't like it tend to really not like it, so just steer clear. Number 4, and this one's a biggie. Never tell someone that you find the job they play really easy. I mean it, human. Don't you dare! There's this weird sense of pride players have about their job being considered difficult by the vast majority of the community, and if you tell them you don't think it is, it kinda hurts their ego. I mean, some people will be cool about it and agree with you, but I don't recommend taking the risk. If you really just want to watch the world burn, make sure you say that Dancer and Summoner are difficult. As of 6.0, the community has decided you could play these jobs with your toes while eating a messy burrito and mid-brain aneurysm. Reminder, never go against the hive mind, human. And jumping off of that, number 5. Don't tell people that you think the game itself is hard either. Listen, if you're new to the game, it's only natural you find it challenging, at least at first. Some people have a tendency to forget that we haven't all been playing this game from the moment we escaped our mother's womb prison. If you mention that you find any main story dungeons or solo instances difficult, you will be made fun of on the internet. They will go to great lengths to explain why the game is pitifully easy casual bait. If the idea of that terrifies me, I can only imagine you're shaking in your boots right now. My best advice is to not take it personally. The entire community has a bit of gamer PTSD due to trials being made easier and easier over time. It's a bit of a sore subject. Number 6 without the 9. Now don't feel bad if you've done this, because this one is a topic I myself haven't learned to shut up about. To put it simply, don't talk about job design. I mean, don't talk about it being good or bad, because no matter which opinion you have, someone will very strongly disagree with you. Definitely don't mention that you think a certain job is OP or needs to be nerfed. We don't take kindly to nerfing talk round these parts, cowboy. Don't be like me, kids. There is no winning here. Only the destruction of long-time friendships awaits you if you walk down this dark path. And for lucky number 7, we have plugins! Yay! Obligatory warning that talking about this in-game can get you banned, so straight up, don't do it. Unless the idea of being in Yoshi P's naughty player dungeon gets you all hot and bothered. Sorry, I regret that one. So anyway, there's debate over how plugins should be used. Some are okay with parsing DPS numbers, but draw the line at using plugins that give them unfair advantages, like 100% accurate mechanic callouts or lowering their ping down to 0. And, you know, modding every girl character to be automatically naked and well-endowed both on top and, down below. You can imagine why there's some controversy here. Honestly, I think many people are scarred by the WoW debacle, where the devs began designing encounters with plugins in mind. And people don't want that to become the standard here. Me personally, I would love to see content designed with Fuda Cat girls in mind. For number 8, take my word for it and do not criticize the story. I mean, you can get away with talking bad about A Realm Reborn and sometimes Stormblood, but if you so much as imply that Heavensward and Shadowbringers aren't the absolute pinnacle of storytelling, you will be met with stinky samurai swords at the ready. It's totally fine if the story isn't your thing, but I don't recommend going around telling people how boring and stupid you find it, because the vast majority of us at least somewhat enjoy, if not simp, for the story of this game. This is not like every other MMO community where the story being bad is universally accepted. Let's just put it that way. 9 might seem kind of obvious, but if you ask any WoW player, they'll probably laugh and agree that their game is toxic as hell. But do not say this about the 14 community. Do not say that passive-aggressive behavior is also problematic. As long as they're not telling you how terrible you are at the game, it's fine if they type things like, "Never had anyone tell me that using the in-game free cure trait was a bad thing, but okay, mentor." I don't know if you've heard this already, but Final Fantasy XIV won the Best Community Award. And if you think some players hide their toxicity behind subtle griefing behaviors, you would be right, but you will also be met with a lot of whataboutisms referring to WoW. The 14 community isn't the best of all time, as the Moist Meter King would say, but they pride themselves on being hashtag better than WoW. Better not piss on that parade. And number 10, it's very similar to number 9. Do not talk badly about the devs. This is one of the most controversial things on this list, and if you talk about the developers in a slightly negative way, and Satan forbid it's about Yoshi P, the 14 Lord and Savior of all people, you will be assassinated. I guarantee it. If you've ever wondered why small indie company is a meme here, it's because some players treat them as if they're a tiny dev team that should never be criticized. You may be thinking to yourself, but they're literally part of Square Enix, which is correct. But how dare you say it out loud? Scroll through the comments and one day there will be at least one person responding to this part of this video. The devs work really hard. They care about the game. They're not greedy like other devs, etc, etc. Which is proof this should be on the list. No worries, human. I'm happy to take this bullet for you. I'm used to it by now. And an extra sore subject for you to avoid. Welcome to our final surprise topic, number 11. This one's crucial, so get out your pen and paper. Do not say you like other MMOs better than 14. If you don't follow any of my other advice on this list, at least listen to this one. Anything is true about us 14 players. We hate WoW. Terra Online, can't stand it. Lost Ark, damn, that's crazy. Hope he finds it. Blade and Soul, gamers don't have a soul! Yeah, no. If you imply this game isn't the best MMO on the market, you will be shunned. Whenever you try to mention something 14 could improve on, you will always be met with, "But this MMO is worse," which shuts down every conversation on the matter. Don't waste your time. I mean, if you're planning to quit the game for good anyway, you should just use Shout Chat and Limsa Lamenza and say, "Wow, it's so much better than this game. Can't believe believe you weeaboos enjoyed this garbage. And sit back to enjoy the carnage. Only use this as a last resort though, because it can inflict psychological damage on Mikote players. And there you have it, folks. 11 things you should never talk about in 14. Unless you want to be universally hated. Then definitely talk about these things. Talk about them a lot. In fact, you should be like the Sephiroth of 14, just popping into our lives with hot takes that no one ever asked for, creating a rift between, I don't know, healers and tanks? Wait, the devs already did that for you. Wait, no, that wasn't me criticizing the devs. Oh, a video over now. Stop. Cut the tape. Cut the— I am the one winged gamer, doing y'all a favor. Bad opinions, but admit they got some flavor. And if you've got some time, here's a run that you can savor. One more reminder, Yoshi P is our savior. A great creator that doesn't need haters, and it makes you a traitor to say you can do greater. Don't know Japanese, but I'm still his translator. Suck his 12-inch potato. Call that a dictator. Eat it up in your crater, or save it for later. Chew you up, spit you out. Masticator. Give it up, Sims, making all our little hearts waver. New novel, seduced by the 14 operator.